practical reasoning of 2023 first semester main campus group 1, Monday group. Okay. I hope everyone is doing well. When the microphone is allowed, then you can respond. On your screen, you see that I have put content that we are going to engage. I'm presenting my own slides, which is not so different from what has been shared to the site for everyone, from my colleague, Dr. Kwesi. The lecture 2 is from Dr. Morgan, and then the lecture 1 was from myself, Dr. Miles. What we are doing is so that you can have presentation from the whole crop of lecturers that are engaging you all in different groups. So that's how we will work, hopefully. But what you see on my screen now is the same content I have put together and packaged in a way that I can speak to as I teach. Okay, when we finish, we will check through what Dr. Kwesi had to be sure that we have mopped up well in the reference. Those who may not know, an assessment has been opened. It will not be extended. So please go to the assessment. Now, I'll outline for the third unit because I know where I have discussed with you up to. I know where to build on, okay, to fill in the gaps that we have, so that we will really be on unit 3. Some of you have, our groups, we have some who have gone ahead, like we discussed unit 5, portions of it, and some other units. So you would see that we are making some advancement. Okay. But for today, we'll focus on the unit 3, build up that. Okay, so verbal dispute, substantive disagreement, metaphors, proverb. Let's see if someone can read that. Otherwise, it gets a bit boring. I don't like a monologue kind of a class. But if people will just cooperate, then we can have a very effective class. Okay, so let me call anybody who wants to read. Let me get Grace Sewa. But before Grace can come in, let's allow the mics.
Outline: verbal disputes versus substantive disagreement, metaphors or proverbs, correcting ambiguity, vagueness and equivocation, illustration of ambiguity, 6 senses of law, identifying types of discourses, arguments, premises and conclusions. Please, should I continue?
No, don't continue.
My lady, read what is on the screen, please, okay?
Okay, madam. Verbal disputes from substantive disagreements. Verbal disputes: when disputants seem to disagree because they are using the same words inconsistently. That is, they actually are saying the same thing differently, so they are not disagreeing after all. This can be corrected by stipulating meaning. Example: Kofi, she is a nurse. Kojo, no, she is a health worker instead. Substantive disagreement: when disputes disagree because each side subscribes to constructing values or has in view different facts, not subjective feelings. This is an actual disagreement. Arguments are meant to resolve such as disagreements, but they may never be resolved. Example: Kofi, she is a nurse because she has a certificate from the training school. Kojo, no, she is not really a nurse because she does not care for her patients.
Very good, my lady. So you would see that Sewa is reading. Gracie, thank you so much. She has read through. I made her read through to the third slide. Then I'm going to take it one after the other. And I hope that that can be a little bit even more effective. The thing we want to caution is you don't come to class to for the first time have a contact with the slides. That will not augur well for you. You would have to have seen the content, see it, read it, study it, have a little grasp of it. Okay, the raw content. That's why we put the slides there weeks ahead. Then when you come to class, we'll throw some light on it. So that's what we are going to do. And we want to make sure that by the time we finish today's session, look on your screen, the highlighted, I said the highlighted, outlined topics. You should know the distinction between verbal dispute and substantive disagreement. Oh, I think I like the class. And I've not disabled your microphone, so, but the room is very quiet. Good job. Let's hope that it remains so, okay? If you are not sure of your background, just keep it muted. That's all like you've done. We'll have a good time. Philemon, Gladstone, I think you should mute up. Priscilla, same. Otherwise, I help you mute by disabling. Right, so Madame has read them nicely, and I'm going to help you understand. I said you have matured, you have grown now. This is a so there's nothing like I don't know how to, you know, manage myself online or stuff like that. I believe that you are very well okay now. Right. Now, so you should know verbal dispute versus substantive disagreement. You should be able to get that note I am making on metaphors and proverbs. The word there should be proverbs. I think the B is left out. It's a PDF, so we will struggle to edit it. How you can correct ambiguity, vagueness, and equivocation. Not just detect it, detect the source of it. So there's ambiguity in the expression. The expression is vague or equivocal or ambiguous. These are all biases, you see. Not just your ability to detect those biases, but how you can correct them. Okay, by the time we finish, you should. Okay, the illustration of ambiguity, examples of them, the 6 senses of the word law, we've done that. We'll just look at it and know that we've done it, but it's already done in our previous discussions for this group. Identifying types of discourses, we've done that. Narrative and the others, even if we've not done it, you see that repeated here. Okay, and then argument, premises, versus conclusion. Okay, so Madame looked at that and then set us off nicely. Madame showed us verbal dispute versus substantive disagreement. And she explained verbal dispute and substantive disagreement in a very simple way. These are very technical concepts that would normally cost us so much time to elaborate, but I'm going to do it with experience and grace. From the word verb, language, verb, a dispute, a disagreement, okay, a contention between two views. Two people are contending over something. People are disagreeing. Yeah, they are what? Disputing. So that's what we mean when we say disputant. When Madame was reading, she read something like that for us. When two people, or maybe more, are disputing, they are contending over a discussion. And what they are disagreeing about is merely, see how we say it's merely an issue of how they are using language. Okay, the meanings of terms, remember definitions. The people are disagreeing. So let's use two for now. Two people are disagreeing about a matter. They think, okay, they are disputing. Come on, say make I say, say make I say. So they are doing that. But you are a critical mind, and as you sit and observe them and hear their perspectives, if you detect that the disagreement, supposed disagreement, I say suppose because if it's a disagreement, it has to be substantive. There must be really substance to the disagreement. That is when you call it a disagreement. If there is no substance, then it's just a dispute. Say make I say, something like that. So back to what I'm saying. When they are disputing, and as you observe as a critical mind, you realize that the dispute is about, and take note and listen attentively so that you don't get confused, because you are not doing a whole philosophy. You're just understanding something small to check how far. You see, so we can't do a whole discourse behind it for you to see it extensively. But just the little basics can help you clearly tell when a dispute is a verbal one and one which is substantive, substance. Now, if you detected or you listen to them and you realize that their disagreements, supposed disagreements, actually about different uses of one concept, one word, one term. They are using different meanings of that same term, but they think they are disagreeing. The thing is about the language, the verb of it, verbal, such that I'm building on what I've said. I'm adding something such that if you were to stipulate meaning, stipulative definition, agreeing, if you were to tell them, is this not what you are trying to say? When you ask person, you say yes. If you ask person B, you also say yes. I'm trying to say exactly this. They will agree that this is what we are trying to say. But we say it, this person is saying it this way, and the other person is saying it that way, seeming to be disagreeing. The reason why there can be a stipulative definition is because they are not saying anything different from each other. They're saying the same thing. It is just how they are saying it that seems to differ. And so it is a dispute about what? Language. Which you can easily, look on my screen, Madam read it, you can easily resolve by stipulating. Sometimes when you stipulate meanings, the dispute disappears, or better still clarifies for them to continue. Then it wasn't a substantive disagreement, it was merely a verbal dispute. I don't want you to say that a dispute is a verbal one when a specific word is in contention. It was about one word. That is not correct. I've told you that if you don't own one, you are always able to borrow a friend's from or collect from the seniors. Even those who did it last semester don't have any use for the book immediately now. You can ask for it and use your roommates, your friends there. Okay, I don't want to say the other one, but some students do that. Some even copy it and all that. What I'm saying is, if you look into the text, it's dito. Several instances where a specific word is being repeated and yet the dispute is not verbal. You see, so what makes a dispute a verbal dispute is not because person A said something and the word that she used is also what person B used, and they are contending that just because of that it has become verbal dispute. No. It is a verbal dispute if they are saying the same thing really, but differently. That is why it can be resolved. You just have to stipulate meanings to clarify that what you said also means this. Or sometimes there comes an addition again. Sometimes it's just an issue about some extra fact that we need. It's not, so there we go. The dispute is not really about I'm moving up for my screen now, substance. It is not about one position subscribing to a certain viewpoint, value. Remember value judgment definitions, factual statement. Unit 1, declaratives, if you remember the 3 types. Then you build it on to open textured terms versus well-defined terms. I told you that learn it well then, because it is a raw material that will help your understanding when we build on. It goes all the way through substantive verbal disputes to deduction, induction. It's the same koju. Deduction is just a matter of definitions, the meanings that you are working with. So there is no subject matter when you are deducing. It's topic neutral. Okay, but when you do induction, you're dealing with facts, factual matters, and so on and so forth. Okay, so let's roll back to here. Here, when you do on the screen now, please respectfully, substantive disagreement. The disagreement is about substance. It may never be resolved. We may never resolve it because the people are looking at the matter from different points of views. I didn't say feelings. Different point of views. So oftentimes, like we do with value judgment, it is more of a statement about what should constitute whatever they are debating over. What should be called this? What this one really should mean, and not what is the case. Okay. All right. So mostly when take note of the way I'm selecting terms, because we want to avoid ambiguity. Should it be ambiguous, the definitions we are giving you? There should be clarity. You can't say what distinguishes a man from a woman is that the woman has long hair and the man has short hair. That's not a good way of distinguishing the two, because there can be women with short hair and there can be men with long hair. The same thing happens when we do deduction versus induction. Okay, this example I've given, we need it there again. So if a dispute or a disagreement actually arises because the two disputing parties are subscribing to contrasting values, or sometimes, look on my screen, they have in view different facts. So there can be factual issues here as well. But the factual issues, that the differences in the facts available to us, which is causing the dispute, is something that you can easily resolve. So if it is about factual matters, I said that inflation is so and so, and that is why Ghana is so and so. And you say, no, the inflation is not so and so, it's so and so rather. This one, when we bring it's a factual matter, we can observe and resolve it. So such substantive disputes are not interesting. When I say they are not interesting, they are not the ones that bother us. The real substantive disagreement is the one that has to do with how people view it, their viewpoint, values. Should I have highlighted that, boldened that? That is what may never be resolved. And so you cannot come stipulating meanings when you are dealing with a substantive dispute that is bordering on people's viewpoint. I tell students all the time, and I like to use the things that are dear to our hearts that we can easily relate to. Okay, look at the church doctrines that we have, those who do church amongst us. I mean, look at the many church doctrines. Friday service, women can preach, some say women cannot preach, you shouldn't eat fish that has not been scaled. Some say you can eat that, don't eat pork, worship on Saturday. All these various viewpoints are looking into one common text called the Bible. But when they look inside, like this brother who showed you the picture of his beautiful sister, a lady, saying that, see, my lady, don't you see that my lady is very beautiful? And his friends are looking on the phone, iPhone 14 Pro Max or whatever, iPhone, and they don't see beautiful. And you can't force them to see beautiful, because the object may be common to all of us. But if it is a value-oriented issue, how people interpret what they are seeing is different. Their opinion about it, I don't like the opinion because it gets conflicted with emotions or feelings. I'm talking about their viewpoint. Yes, their point of view, that is not necessarily objective. Remember value judgment. It differs. So one person is looking into the Bible, sees that you cannot preach if you're a lady. Another person looks into the same Bible and sees that women can preach. Who is right and who is wrong? That is what is going on with the example in the text. Because those who have it, I want to read one or two and I'll come back to my own example. One, it says, let's see the one who says that she's not a real Christian because she does not speak in tongues. We are doing verbal dispute versus substantive disagreement. That's the very first topic, I think, for Unit 3. So those who have the text, you will just look at Section 1, distinguishing verbal dispute versus substantive disagreement. Permit me to read a quote from the text. A verbal dispute is a disagreement which rests upon an inconsistency in the way the disputants are using the same words. They are disputing and they are using the same. That is where sometimes people get tricked. They think that then whenever it's a verbal dispute, you should see exactly a repetition of one word. So the person A said the same word, they also use it. Listen, using this is not a fruitful kind of disagreement. I told you, the disagreement doesn't last because it's not a genuine one. It's just the language. Once the meaning of keywords is clarified so that both sides of the dispute are relying upon the same meanings, then either it becomes clear that there is no real difference of opinion. Take note, the difference is not on the opinion, it's just the language. Or it becomes clear instead what is the nature and quality of their disagreement. So coming to an agreement about the use of words will allow progress toward the goal of discussion. And they can agree on which words to use because they are referring to the same thing differently. So there can be stipulated definition. And the examples, or better still, let me just add the other one. However, as just described in the introduction, I'm reading page 50 of your text. Some conflicts are based on confusion. We call these disputes merely verbal if they are the result of inconsistency in the use of words. That's the one we have tested. In contrast, a substantive dispute is one that exists, listen, because each side of the disagreement has in view different facts or subscribes to what? Contrasting values. Now let's try some example. Example 1 says, that woman is not a real Christian. I think I've quoted that because she does not speak in tongues. The other person says, no, she really is a Christian since she was baptized and confirmed in the United Methodist Church. That woman, so two people contending, and I'll take feedbacks from you quickly. They are arguing. This woman is not a real Christian, says person A. What's her reason? Because she doesn't speak in tongues. Then the other person says, no, I think she's a real Christian because she was baptized at United Methodist Church. Now, they are all using the word Christian. Christian. Does that make, what type of dispute do you think they are engaged in and why? And I want reactions from you, even from my discussion with you so far. Now, hands up. If it is previous hands, then you would want to kindly lower it. If you want to react to what I asked, then it's a good time to do so. Let's take Philemon. I think it's Gladstone, if I'm right. Yes, I am. Go ahead, Philemon. What type of dispute would you think the two are engaged in? The example I just gave, which I think I projected on your screen somewhat, example 2. Please unmute and respond quickly, Philemon. If not, let's take Cromwell. Oh no, Philemon is ready. Hold on. Thank you, Philemon. Go on quickly. Philemon, we want to hear you, please.
All right, it is a verbal dispute.
Why do you say so?
Because of the usage of the word Christian.
Thank you for the response.
Thank you.
I'll react. To those who are playing the recording, just in case you play it later, I don't say I said yes. I'll react to it. He says he thinks it's verbal. So let's take, thank you, sir. Okay, let's take Educhum. Thank you. Educhum, go ahead.
Madam, please, I also think it's verbal dispute.
I want a contrary answer. Okay, So if someone else thinks it's not verbal, then it's that person I want. Okay, So that now it's ready. We are ready to discuss. Okay, so I think I see Erica Gelly. Erica, what do you think? Erica, you are muted, please. Please, everyone be by your gadget so that we save some time, some very good time. Erica is not there. Let's take that. Okay, she's there. Go ahead.
I think it's substantial dispute.
Substantive. Why? Why do you say so?
Because they all believe that a Christian has to do different things to make the person a Christian.
All right. Thank you all. Now I want to react. Thank you very much. Maybe one more. Who else thinks is substantive? I got 2 verbals. Let me take one more. One more. Benedicta Ampuma, I think. Ampuma. My lady, go ahead. Benedicta, what do you think?
My mic is disabled though.
We're still the
Benedicta Ampoma, please tell me what you think.
I'm afraid my mic is disabled.
All right, it's fine. It's fine. Be patient, yeah. My sister, you say your mic is disabled. Your friends are telling you, but you are talking. How can hear you? Oh, there they go again. All right, you will see that. Oh, you will see. There's something you will see. They are using the same word. Let me just read what is in the text for you to see. Dito from the text. This is a substantive disagreement. It's not verbal. That's why when I started, I said, what makes it verbal is not because there is a specific word that has been repeated. I say it means this, then the other person says it means something else. That is not what makes a dispute verbal. Look at what they are contending over. The people say, one person says, that woman is not a real Christian. And her reason is because she does not speak in tongues. The other person says, no, I think she's a real Christian. Why? Because she was baptized. These are two viewpoints about what a Christian should be, value judgment, really. So they know how they want to define her. But one person thinks, I don't think she's a real Christian. So maybe she's Christian, yes, but not a real one. Because a real Christian should speak in tongues. That's what the person is saying. The other person says, I don't think so. I think what suffices to be a Christian is to be baptized, and she's baptized. This contention may never be resolved. Yes, because it is about how people view what it means to be a Christian, what they think a Christian should mean, not what they think a Christian means. Remember, factual statements define what is. Value judgment prescribe what should be. I'm reading directly from your text what the reaction is. These people clearly disagree about what is essential to having Christian faith. The participants in this debate might not be able to arrive at a stipulative definition. They might never be able to stipulate, okay, let's take it that a Christian means this. The other person, why should we take it that way? A Christian should mean this rather. They would drag on. That's why we have GDA Koko, Thursday, SDA, Sunday, Charismatic, Pentecostal, Orthodox. Cover your hair, don't cover your hair. It's this. One scripture. If it is a factual matter, which we can refer to resolve a matter, we should be able to see it. But when we look, we don't see beautiful. Somebody is seeing beautiful, I'm seeing ugly. We are all right. It's viewpoint, not about something that is language. It is a point of view issue. So I'll continue. He said they may never be able to stipulate meanings for Christian unless they realize it is only a means to get at the deeper issues. But it is not obvious that these sentences are correctly understood to be motive expressed. They are not emotions either. They're not talking feelings, empty, no. This is likely to be a substantive difference in matters of faith. This is the commentary in your textbook. Just to show you and put your mind at rest, that when you are looking at verbal dispute versus substantive disagreement, ask yourself, the textbook tells you, ask yourself, what are the people disagreeing about? So back to my slide now to put some flesh to it. And then Grace will continue reading for us. Look at what I said for the first one. Kofi and Kojo are brothers. They are sitting in the compound out there, taking some fresh air. Then the sister comes to pass. Then Kofi says, she is a nurse, addressing the lady. She's telling Kojo, that lady she's a nurse. Then Kojo says, no. As soon as you hear no, you are expecting a contrast, an opposition, something opposite to what has been said. In other words, something that is different from what has been said. So he says, no. You expect to hear something, and he says, no. She is a health worker instead. Now tell me, are the two people disagreeing or not? You can unmute your mic and talk a little. Are they disagreeing?
No,
Yes, they
please.
are
Yes, they are
disagreeing.
Yes, they
disagreeing.
are.
Yes, they are
No,
disagreeing.
Yes, they are.
no, no, no.
Oh, they are
Say,
disagreeing.
They are not.
I
Yes,
think
they
they
are
are
No, they are
disagreeing.
not
no,
disagreeing at all.
No, no.
no,
No,
hex.
no, they are not
They are
disagreeing.
disagreeing.
Please, they are not
One says it's a
disagreeing.
yes,
Yes,
and the other
yes.
one
And
They
then
are
says
it's a
no.
help.
disagreeing.
Very good. It's fine. I muted all of you. Listen, I disabled your mics actually. So when you settle, then I'll just make it possible for you to mute. They are not disagreeing. Someone has to tell them that nurse and health worker. If I say someone is a nurse and you tell me no, she's not a nurse, but she's a health worker, you didn't say anything different from what I said. She's a nurse. You say no. I expect that you say no. She's not a nurse. She's a tailor, or she's a cook, or something different. But you come and tell me that, oh, she's not a nurse, rather she's a health worker. Brothers and sisters in the Lord, that is verbal. It's language. We agree on the substance of it. The lady works in the health ministry. What we are contending over is how we are expressing it. The language is a verbal dispute. The same with the one in your textbook that says, now go there again, example 2, page 53, 53. It says that man is playing a wooden flute and the other musician is playing the pentama. These are all names for traditional, musical tools, musical whatever instruments. Sorry. Okay. So the first person said that man is playing a wooden flute and the other musician is playing the pentama. Then person 2 says no. It's a dispute. So the person says no. I am sitting closer and I can see that one of them is playing a clarinet and the other one is playing on the ponton from the drum. This one, is it anything to go and pull heads over and argue and present evidence? And no. The person sitting closer say, oh, when I'm sitting closer. It means if you were to come closer to where I am, you will see the way I'm saying it. It's a factual matter. A factual one that can easily resolve the dispute. It's not anything to drag hairs about. That is what we are talking about when we try to distinguish verbal disputes from substantive disagreement. Substantive disagreement, we will have to present arguments. We have learned argument a little. Premises to support a certain claim. Then the other person also bring their own. They will keep making it better and better, we hope, to achieve the actual meaning we are looking for, or the actual viewpoint we are trying to present. Okay, not when the matter is a linguistic one, language based that we can clarify. Say, hey, the guy coming is wearing red. You say, no, cocoa, red, cocoa, echu, red, cocoa, echu. Then we are going to beat ourselves over. I said it is red. The other person, no, it's echu. This is cocoa. Is that a disagreement? Unmute and answer. When I say red, you say echu. This one says cocoa.
No,
Are we disagreeing?
No,
No,
Yes,
No,
yes,
it's not
no,
yes.
disagreement.
no,
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 yes.
no,
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 please.
no, please.
Yes,
No
No.
yes.
No,
disagreement.
please.
No,
No,
yes,
yes.
Yes,
we
We're
are
Yes,
all
all
the
the
yes.
same.
same.
yes, yes,
We
yes.
are
yes.
all
The
the
problem
same.
is yes.
No,
No,
please.
please.
All right. So I muted everyone. Now listen, it is not a disagreement that will go to parliament and pull our hairs and push someone off a seat. No. Because if someone just told me that, oh, look, red is just the tree. When you say cocoa, you are speaking plantain or tree. That is another way of saying red in tree. I'll say, because then the other guys, oh, echulu, I got echulu, no, G, cocoa, echulu. When you hear echulu, it's the same as red. That's all. There is nothing to go on. That's why we say we can stipulate, we can agree on a meaning because it was just language. Sometimes it's just factual, not anything, not different facts, but it's a factual matter. As in, if you were to draw closer, so the one I just read is the text for you, the point 2, the example 2. The commentary says, in this case, the person sitting closer probably has a better view of the instrument and the place. So here, the disagreement can be resolved by appeal to the facts. It's also possible that the first speaker needs to learn what the words clarinet and phantom mean. So the first speaker can be corrected in his use of the word flute by learning that he has misapplied them on this occasion. Second speaker has resolved their dispute by giving a report of the facts or by providing an ostensive definition of clarinet and phantom or both. So the original disagreement can be said to have been merely verbal. And we don't see any word being repeated there. But this is a verbal dispute. Brothers and sisters in the Lord. On that note, you will see that whenever we talk substantive disagreement, we will be looking at different substantive disagreement. We will mostly be looking at what? Different contrasting values, viewpoints. Some would want to call it opinion, not feelings, of course. Okay, being expressed by the two parties on the same notion. So I have what I think the notion should represent, and you have what you think it should represent. Sometimes because the facts available to me are totally different from yours, and it is not helping us to have a stipulative definition. If we were to get those sorted, then we will be able to resolve that substantive disagreement. But if not, and it is on values, then sorry to say, we may never be able to resolve. People who go their diametrically opposed ways. Like we have Christians versus Muslims, and yet they all come from Abraham, but they have their view about what the promised son and what have you is. Like we can have two diametrically opposed political parties and others in Ghana here pursuing the common, supposedly, whatever for Ghana, but they have different viewpoints about what they think, proper governance should constitute, and so on and so forth. So the disagreements here are substantive. There is content. That is when you start presenting logical analysis. You make evidence available to support why you think yours should be, and not a verbal one where you just clarify and we can move on. So Kofi says on the screen now, Kofi says she is a nurse because she has a certificate from the training school. That's why she thinks Kofi is a nurse. The lady is a nurse. This is the substantive one. The earlier one just described. Okay. What did Kojo say in reaction to Kofi? No, she's not really a nurse because she does not care for her patients. Kojo say, oh, but I saw her certificate, Kojo. She has graduated. Even I was at the graduation there. She even read a valedictory note or something. Yes, yes, I know. I know she has all those certificates. But that is not what should make her what makes her a real nurse. A real nurse is the one who takes care of her patients, even without it. This is not verbal. They are talking nurse, but they are not disputing about the verb nurse or they are not disputing about the word nurse. They are disputing about what nurse should mean. The viewpoint may never be resolved. Substantive. One more from your textbook. I've spent some time here because I've seen some of the queries from students. You should just engage your content, and then you'll be properly guided. Let's go to example. I see one in your textbook. Okay, example 5. It is on the Scottish identity or so of our ex-president. Okay, so let's read it. The head of state is not really a Ghanaian since he's half Scottish, says one person. I think then it was Venerable ex-president, President Rollins of Lesman. So the head of state is not really a Ghanaian since he's half Scottish. This person says, no, he's a Ghanaian. This is our leader, and he's a Ghanaian citizen with a Ghanaian passport. I want to ask you before even I read a comment, is this dispute verbal or substantive, and why? So let's have a hand raised up, then I can call them. Anybody wants to react? Okay, I see 2 hands up. Bella Pia, go ahead. You can unmute now. I've made it possible, so you can unmute now. Lady Pearl.
Please, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes, please, I can. Go ahead.
Okay. It is substantive.
Very good. Why?
Please, can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly, my lady. Clearly. Okay.
It is substantive because it does not match.
The two people have different viewpoints
If
that they are
yeah,
presenting about, very good, about who a real Ghanaian
the
should be.
president.
Very good. Well done. So you see that they are repeating the word Ghanaian in our textbook. Yeah? The head of state is not really a Ghanaian, since House Scottish says the first person, like I read earlier. The second person says, no, he's a Ghanaian. Since he's a leader and he's a Ghanaian citizen with a Ghanaian passport. If you go and think that you see Ghanaian, therefore they are disputing over the verb or language of it, you will err. Look at the commentary in the text, so that it doesn't look like it's someone that is saying that. At least the textbook is what is guiding us. Okay, it's an authority that wrote it for the university. Look at it. It says this is not to be just a verbal dispute. This is likely not to be just a verbal dispute. That's page 54 of your textbook, unit 3. It says this discussion may rather display indirection to avoid open and blatant criticism of a high official, particularly a head of state. Openly criticizing a head of state may be regarded as committing a serious offense or might be regarded as very bad taste or as unpatriotic. Okay, I think all we needed was even the first line. We are done. This is likely not to be just a verbal dispute. It can't be that. At times, in the middle there, I continue. At times, when past presidents have been the focus of disapproval, their nationality has been challenged. Rather than voicing openly a complaint about their performance, we are still quoting. There we go. Once a stipulative definition is agreed upon about what are the requirements to be a Ghanaian citizen, then possibly the underlying objections to the individual in question or criticism of his performance might emerge if the discussion is continued and circumstances allow candid disagreement. All these things I've said aside, the first line, this is likely not to be just a verbal dispute. It's not just because people want to say that, oh, it's not Ghanaian because the another person says it's Ghanaian because that. No, the people are conceptualizing. It is like open texture terms. The people have their views. Those contending are trying to say that if he's a Ghanaian, then he should be this and that and that. And the other person says, I don't think so. I think what should be Ghanaian is so and so and so and so. The disagreement is bordering on what? Viewpoint, what we think should be the case. So now it will elicit what? Argumentation, where you present evidence as to why I should leave my view and come and join yours. Because I think you are saying something that is convincing me rationally, academically, critically, if I look at it. Must he come from Ghana? After all, whoever says he's from Ghana, Accra people, they say we come from Israel. Okay, we all came from Adam. So this is where you came from. What I'm doing now is trying to argue, to convince the other person who says he doesn't come from Ghana. Okay, then someone too will say, oh, I think that his leadership skill, the fact that he can galvanize people and can that is more important in determining who leads the country than his blood or something. So what we are doing now is we're trying to convince each other, because the disagreement is not about the language. If it's the language, I'll say a Ghanaian is a person who did this, and then we would have agreed on it. I know what a Ghanaian is, perhaps. I don't think that is what a Ghanaian should be. That's the contention between the two. Not what is the case. What should be the case is what perhaps they are pulling heads over, for which reason we may never be able to resolve it. And people say that in their heart for years, saying that we have allowed the foreigner to rule us, and we think that we are the value-oriented discussion. The very last one, which is also useful to help you understand it, just so that you don't think that because a certain word has been repeated here and there between the two people, so it means the dispute is a verbal. It's a wrong way of defining it. That's why I'm giving you a reference from the text that we are using to guide you. Look at example 4. You'll find it in the new text as well, page 53, 53 again, all under unit 3. The first section, examples in the text with commentaries to help your understanding. It says, African Americans are really American. Then person 2 says, no, African Americans are really African. If we had not had this discussion, I suppose most of you would say, oh, because they are pulling hairs over who an African American is, therefore it is a verbal dispute. I shudder to think not. Before I even read, find out, let me hear what you think. So I'll mute and then ask before we read it. Who wants to react to that? African Americans are really African. The other person says, no, I don't think so. I think African Americans are really American. Desmond Odame, what do you think? Please unmute and then react.
Okay, madam. Let's see.
Has Desmond answered?
Yes, please.
Oh, okay, I think I didn't hear. If you could just come again.
Please, I said I think it's a substantive disagreement.
It's a substantive disagreement. Very good. I'm happy you know that, but why? If you could add that, I'll be very grateful.
Because what they mean about African American is quite something you can't debate about it. It's based on what they understand about who is kind of.
Very good. It's a good effort. So it will be fine if you say it this way, and that's to the class now. If you say the two contending with those who are disputing, each subscribe to what? A different view about what should, the word is should. What should constitute what? African American. One thing is, if we say someone is African American, it should mean that the person is African. Another person says, no, I think when we say African American, it should mean American. We are debating to make it better. We are not doing a well-defined concept like mathematics that won't change its rules for anyone. It won't change since 1957, 1901. 3 plus 2 has always been equal to 5, and it will be so because it's mass. The system is closed. Remember topic 2. Here, we are dealing with open texture terms. So when people are disputing and it is a substantive disagreement, it is meant to make it better. Some people say the television then was the devil's box. It is not so any longer. Perhaps someone asked, so now when we go and do our crusade, where should the people watch it? So let's revise this our thing and rather emphasize, don't watch things that will corrupt you and stuff. That's better than saying throw away the whole box because it's the devil's box. Don't you think so? What is happening is what? Argumentation. There's a place for that. You have to cover your hair before you pray, sisters. Yes, very important. But does that become a rule of thumb, or it is just to ensure that you feel a sense of holiness when you are praying? But there is nothing that is going to happen just in case you didn't have your scarf and there's an emergency and you have to pray. You say God will not hear. So now you are diving down the ditch. If you look left and right, there's trouble. And you can't say, oh, Jesus, save me. You can't say, when you say that it won't, the network will not be clear. The number you are calling cannot be reached. Is that what you are saying? No, it can't be that. So this person speaking is trying to tell the authority that be that I think we should have a relook at the doctrinal issues. It's not substantive issues about faith and what have you. It is about how we are interpreting it. Can we be fair to ourselves and sincere that what we should emphasize is what? Holiness, a sense of decorum. Sisters, don't go and do some rasta thing so big or some hairdo be so almost, someone said, ostentatious that when you enter the auditorium, then everybody has stopped praying. They are looking at you. You haven't done anything bad, but it's very distracting. So maybe modesty is what we want to emphasize. Let's emphasize modesty. Let's emphasize decency. Do you see what I'm doing? Let's emphasize decency rather than saying don't wear men's clothing or women's clothing. Men's clothing should be indecent. When it's indecent, they will say it's men's clothing on a woman. Because if I'm in Iceland and I'm working at a factory, God has blessed me to travel there to work and take care of the family back home here. I can't wear skirts in the ice. My brothers and sisters in the Lord, I'll become obituary. and go to heaven. God will welcome me and say, Meba, you should have thought wise. I created snow and I created sun. So in the bid to be holy and clean and decent, you don't, so what I'm doing, all these levels of argumentation is to show you that where someone says, this is men's clothing, don't wear, this is women's clothing, we are having substantive disagreement. And therefore, what you use to help review as a critical thinker is to respectfully and humbly, but directly present argument, evidence to support claims. So you give reasons why you think this should be or this shouldn't be, just in the hope that you win the other party to yourself, but you may never be able to do that. And that's what is happening with the African American and American Africans, and those who want to compare that one too, you can check from the textbook. It is substantive, even though the focus was on one word or two words. And so to help you not think that, oh, I saw the word, this person say nurse is this, the other person say nurse is that, therefore it's a verbal dispute. No, that is not deep. Verbal disputes border on what? The use of language. They are saying the same thing differently, like the one on our screen now. So if you say they should agree on how to say it, they should agree to say it this way, they can agree, they can stipulate. That's why we can resolve it by stipulating meanings. Excellent. And so that man is Fanti. No, he's not Fanti, he's Akan. Fanti, Akan. Fanti, Akan. I say it's not Fanti, it's Akan. They are saying one thing. It's a mango. No, it's not a mango, it's a fruit. I like to use the subset. It's easier to show you. So one is talking about the subset. He's Fanti. Then you say, no, he's not Fanti. When you say no, you have to bring a contrast. Then you say, no, it's not Fanti, it's Akan. What are Fantis? And the Akans. They are. It's mango. No, it's not mango, it's a fruit. Mango fruit. They are pulling their heads. Some are sitting on the others, throwing them off and all that. When you come and say, oh, but mangoes are also fruit. Is that okay? So that is what there is to substantive and verbal dispute. It is a technical notion. Even in delivering it, if you are not careful, there might seem to be a certain kind of confusion. There is no confusion at all if you understand the concept of values, facts, and definitions. Even for substantive disagreement, there can be sometimes the disagreement can be about facts, but in those instances, as soon as, because facts are not subjective to you, when the facts are there, when we get the available facts, we will, you see that in argumentation, the person will say, I concur. Okay, I didn't know, so I agree. It will be resolved peacefully, even though it was substantive. But where it borders on values, you present logical premises and hope that it will convince the other person. I've given you several instances on matters that are important to us in our faith. I said they all came from one Father Abraham, but look at how diametrically opposed the views are. All from one source, and yet the views are different. Islam, Christianity. Within Christianity, look at the versions. They all say Father Abraham. Within Islam, look at the versions. That should tell you that it's not a matter about what it means to be Christian. It is how you see the meaning of Christian. What you think Christian should mean. This is value-oriented. Very good. Now I want another person to read bracketing metaphorical or proverbial statement.
Madam, please, I read.
Okay, read. Say. Normally, I don't like that. Forgive me, man. Please read. Don't do a chorus like that again. Go ahead.
Yes, sorry for that. Okay, bracketing metaphorical or proverbial statements. Note, they do not convey a single objective meaning. Open-ended, indecisive interpretation. They have more than one meaning and can perform more than one function at the same time. Bracket them or treat them specially. One must consider their context, mood, situation, background knowledge, reception, etc. To grasp the meaning being conveyed, where you seek to be objectively understood, a metaphor is not the best option.
Well read. Well done. I didn't regret letting you read. There is nothing to add here. When people speak metaphorically or proverbially, don't go interpreting them literally. My lecturer is a pig. Okay, maybe lecturer is too sharp for some of you, but maybe my roommate is a pig. Oh, my roommate, oh, my wife is a pig. Oh. This is a husband telling the doctor. Then concerners, who knows the woman, who's to say, I feel so embarrassed about what your husband said, but my husband just said, I was telling the doctor, said, you are a pig, going to create confusion. The husband is telling the doctor that now she's eating like machine. Meanwhile, the woman couldn't eat them. So this is good news. And she can say, Doc, jai. Now the woman is a pig. It's figurative, perhaps. That expression could mean several things. And I'm sure you know, I don't want to spend too much time on that. It could mean she's dirty. So if you say my roommate is a pig, or my roommate don't like she's a pig, it's metaphor. Fun to her, you compare. It could mean she's dirty. What are other meanings you can put to she's a pig? Let me take it from you people, from you yourselves. Okay.
She's fat. She's fat.
A little, so that you feel in the class. People talk a little. I'll meet you again. You unmute and talk. Dirty.
She's dirty.
Dirty, good.
She's either
She
fat.
likes food. She likes
Very
food.
good.
She's fat.
Eats a lot.
Is maybe the man is big.
She's foodian.
Eats a lot.
She likes food.
Excellent. It's okay. Very good. Now I have disabled all mics. Don't worry. It's part of the class. And people don't like that part of it. It's part, Papa. The participation. Listen, glutton, koshie ajimante. You know, it means that as soon as you are going to pour the food away, you say, I'm here, we collect. If I want to say that about someone, I can shroud it and cover it in a way that you won't know directly. So the person speaking in proverbs or metaphor can say that, oh, now she's a pig, or my roommate is a pig. It could mean she's dirty, she snores, she's putting on, she's eating everything, etc. It's one expression. Our president is a lion. Suppose I said that. Doesn't mean he has 4 legs. No. With a tail and a big head, with a mane. No. It's symbolic. So that's all that you are being advised on that. As a critical thinker, remember we are equipping ourselves with tools, techniques, skills, methods that will help us to reason appropriately, and more importantly, to detect errors. So we have seen equivocation already. We'll go back to it today before we end. We've seen implicit and explicit meanings of things. You've seen your assessment. When you get your own question, the questions are many. So whichever one comes to you, then you answer. They are all on only unit 1 and 2, applied questions. So you can talk your own, okay? And you have a whole week. Please, it will not be extended by even 1 minute. This is the 4th week. We waited till the 4th week. It should have been the 3rd week. So you better use the time to do it. Just read it. That's why I give 2 attempts. Copy your question, go and read around. It's an open book assessment. There's nothing like you are hiding something. We want you to engage the content. So read around, ask questions, ask someone, oh, what do you think of this? Get some scenarios, create it, take your time. We won't restrict you. No exam room, tada, surprise, this is the question. No. There's a time for that. This one, you know the question. You have all the resources accessible to you. Just write your best within the space given, and then we'll grade it for you. Okay. I'm saying that they are on those topics that we've done. When people speak too, we want you to remember the tools we are giving you. This one is also another tool. Be careful not to think when I say life is war, it means go and get a gun, a knife, and start warring. I'm speaking figuratively. Life is war. You have to engage it. So there's something about war that I'm equating to life. Tease it out. That's why you're being advised to what? Bracket it. My lecture is a gem. Gems are stones. Am I a stone? No. But there's something perhaps you want to say. All these examples I took from students. We are the sheep of his slaughter. This is a Christian quotation. We quote it. He was led like a sheep to the slaughter. We too, no, I think we are the sheep of his pasture. This should be edited. We are the sheep that eat at the Father's table. Charlie, be you. The Lord is my shepherd. If the Lord is your shepherd, what are you? You are a sheep, not a goat. So when you are calling your children kid, kid is the baby goat. The Bible did say we are the goat of his pasture. I have to correct this. Anyway, this is how symbolic. So what? Use them in what? This is what your friend read. I put it back on the screen. Metaphor, proverb. He has kicked the bucket. The hen also knows when the sun rises. My very famous proverb that I keep repeating. The hen also knows when the sun rises, but it is the cock that crows. It could be an advice. At the same time, it could be a reprimand. It could be an instruction. One expression is intentionally, your friend read it, again, I put it there, open-ended, indecisive. It is intentionally so. That is how it is. So treat them specially. Don't go using them the way you use everyday language. Don't critique it because it is intentionally meant to be vague if it is a metaphorical, idiomatic, or proverbial statement. So where you want us to understand you clearly without any ambiguity and objectively, you don't have to use vague expressions. Jesus used a lot of parables and intentionally so. He told them, even the disciples, he told them some of the things I can't tell you now. They are not ready. When the Holy Spirit comes, he has the skill of, convey, like the way mothers can teach, babies to eat. And the father, maybe, it's just an example, not to say that he says his father and Holy Spirit. People have some queer, doctrines. But I'm just trying to show you. He says, I can't tell you that now. Meaning that at every stage, the man that most of us or some of us follow was applying meanings. The thing must be meaningful to them. Otherwise, it will confuse them. The little that they receive, outsider will come and take away and destroy. So he told them, I won't tell you certain things now until you are able to. When he comes, the Holy Spirit comes, he will help you. What am I trying to show you? Look on the screen. Intentionally hidden, intentionally shrouded in a seeming confusion. It's not confusion. Everybody will get their own insight when they open. So the wife and the husband, like I told you earlier, who went to see the counselor, and the counselor said, my lady, my gentleman, I'm glad you came. What I have to say to you as we go is this. The hen also knows when the sun rises. I'm telling both of you that it is the cock that crows. I remember telling you that could mean, sister, you know everything that is going on, which you know what's up. You have the cash, you have the flex, you have the exposure, whatever, and all exposure, I should say. But let the cock crow. Let the cock crow so that he feel man enough to take up his responsibilities. Otherwise, he will sit in the room with you and you will be hens. That's an advice perhaps to the woman. It could be at the same time reprimand to the man. The same statement said to both of them. To the man, it could mean the sister is doing all she can because perhaps she has the opportunities and the exposure and what have you. But you for set up, you be the man, go grow. Let the woman be a woman. So no one is happy, no one is sad. Everybody is going home, going to unpack that baggage of a parcel that grandpa gave as a counsel. Very heavy, open-ended, and what have you. And if you're a manager, a project lead, what have you, you will see that these skills will be so invaluable to the company. You think that it is first class, second class in corner. When you go on the job, when they say you should go to the field to do something, you on the team, everybody knows that no matter what, we can go and come in peace. Because that sister, when you bring the issue, she will not take sides. And she won't let you feel bad, but she won't also let you go feeling that you have done well. She will critique you and still be smiling. It's a skill. So you are needed at the hospital. You can tell the husband that you are the reason why your wife's BP keeps coming back. And you don't say it in a way that they go home and the marriage doesn't survive. Because you have a critical thinking skill, problem solving, evaluation, skill of evaluation, analysis, etc., etc. So one of the tools you shouldn't forget is what you see on your screen, which is called metaphors or proverbs. And we say, as for those ones, intentionally bracket them. So remember all the parables that man Jesus gave us. and what each one of them meant after he said it. And some of them, he took the disciples inside and then opened it out to them even further, telling them that this one day, the secret of the kingdom party, you should know. Parables, proverbs, and the other one is what idiomatic expression, metaphorical statement. Very good. If you got that and there's no question, I suppose that we are now on some problematic uses of language. We call them vices. Some say problematic. Of course, you may want to tweak it and use it sometimes, quote and unquote, positive. If you're an advertiser, for example, you could get people to buy so much of your newspaper or your social media platform. You could attract a lot of people because of an ambiguous presentation. Something you put there which looks like, what? Did you say this? Hey, did this happen? And then people will come and look. You know, those who like views for the sake of views can do that. Ambiguity, equivocation. Okay, but normally in usage, it is not a positive thing. Okay, so a rapper may be equivocal about how he's playing on words, and that can attract some positivity to him. So take note, there are vices. What is ambiguity? I want someone to read for me. Big boss, are you there? Please read for this one too, then we can find someone else. Diagnosing ambiguity. If you are not there, let me get someone quickly. Who will read for us? Hey, yeah,
Madam, please, I read.
Madam, please, I read.
Madam, please, I read.
I wait.
Let
Madam,
the
please, I
sister
want
read.
to
My
read.
brother just read, so let the sister
Madam,
read.
please, I read. Madam, please, I want to read.
Diagnosing ambiguity.
Madam,
When
please,
a
I want to
statement
read.
is
Madam, I'll
made,
read.
I want Augustina Labi to read for me, so I will mute only her mic. I beg you, okay? Let's do it that way. We'll be organized. Augustina Labi, so I allow her mic, and there she goes. I wanted to hear you people at the background while she's reading. It's fine. Sister, read. You alone can unmute now. This guy.
when a statement is made, but that one statement can have two different meanings, and the intended meaning is not clear from the statement, it is criticized as ambiguous.
You should thank God that everybody's mic is muted. My sister, it's not ambiguous. It's ambiguous. Well done. When a statement is made, that one statement is one, people, but that one statement made can have more than one meaning. This is the issue. You said one thing. It is like, once have I spoken, twice have I heard. That all power belongs to God. Once has God spoken, where are you people? I want to meet you. Okay. So you spoke once, but that one statement you made can have more than one meaning. That is what we call ambiguous. In fact, ambi is from the word two, I think. So oftentimes it's because you can have two meanings, sometimes even more. That's simply ambiguity. So sometimes when you are equivocal, you remember equivocation, you are shifting from one of the connotations of a word to the other. When you are shifting like that, you could create an ambiguity in the minds of your audience or your listeners. Don't get confused at all. Equivocation, we have seen it, we'll see it again. When you are using the different meanings of one word, a word can have more than one connotation. Remember, chair, the table example again. Okay. So you could be shifting from one of the meanings of the word to another, suggesting that all the two meanings apply, same context. And we said that when you do that, we'll accuse you of being equivocal. What I'm pointing up here is that when you are equivocal in how you are using a term, you could generate ambiguity in the minds of people. So what is the meaning of ambiguity? Sister read it. One statement, yet it could mean A, it could also mean B. That's ambiguity. Read, my dear, examples of ambiguity. Ante,
I
read
have
for us.
always wanted to
Doc,
apply
please.
for.
Yes, sister.
Doc, please, I
I have
can't
always
see your
wanted
slides.
Okay,
to
let me
apply
read my text.
to take a
Madam,
course
Yes,
in
should I
critical
read?
thinking,
I'll
and
read
now
it.
I
Don't worry.
Madam,
finally
should I
have.
read?
I'll read it, okay? Someone can
Madam
read it and
Cyrus.
indicate. So let us read
Please,
it.
whenever.
I'll disable your mic. Okay. Let the lady read this last slide, then we can go. There are 34 slides. We are just on the 10th one, and we'll finish our short. So the other ones we've done. So no hassle. Let the sister go ahead, lady.
I have always wanted to apply for leave to take a course in critical thinking, and now I finally have. Angry
Do you
goats
see the
injure
ambiguity? Hold on, sister. Thank you. Please, do you see the ambiguity there? The person says, and now I finally have. I finally have done what? Have you finally applied for the leave, or you have finally taken a course? Because you said you have always wanted to apply for leave to take a course. You can apply for the leave and take the course in medicine or in management, not critical thinking. You could apply for the leave and you are now waiting to see if you would even take a course at all. So if you say, I have always wanted to apply for leave to take a course in critical thinking, and now I finally have. Our question is, I finally have done what? Because it could mean, and now I finally have applied for the leave, waiting to take the course. Or I now have finally applied for the leave and taking the course. If you leave the person to go with this, saying that, and now I finally have, you didn't act as what? A critical thinker. It can go against you if you were an investigator or if you were transacting a business. The person will tell you, oh, I said now I finally have the goods. I didn't say I have sent them to you. You say, oh, but you said you now have I asked for the goods and so you are sending it to me and now you finally have. So I thought you said, oh, I didn't say I brought it to you. I can't even bring it again. Oh, bruh. So all my money that you took, all went to men's gold. It's finished. And now I finally have. It's ambiguous. Sister, read through the rest. I'll be projecting the slides, okay, as you read. Just keep reading. Then after a while, I'll come and explain. Look at the examples very well for your own sakes. Go ahead.
Angry goat injures farmer with cutlass. 3. Disappearing into a hole. I saw a mouse. Free turkey.
Are you enjoying the screen? I really like these examples. I got them from Dr. Casey's slides. I use them all the time. Look at that. Students cook and serve grandparents. What are the two meanings, at least, that you can get from this headline? An advertiser, if you put this, you see how people will come and buy the newspaper. Students cook and serve grandparents. What could it mean? There are two meanings at least you can generate. Abigail Abing, please unmute and tell me what you think it could mean. Oh, Abby. Okay, let me get. Then it's a champo. Do you want to tell us what it could mean? Who can answer? Two interpretations you can put to that expression on the screen. Okay, if you can. Abigail Abing is ready now. Go ahead, Abby. Oh, Abigail, I can't hear you.
Yes.
Go ahead,
Yes,
my lady.
please.
Yes, go ahead.
Please, I can't hear you.
Oh, my sister, you can't see the screen.
I can see, please. I couldn't hear you when you first spoke.
Oh, I'm saying that what you see on the screen now, you see that it says students cook and serve grandparents. What does that mean to you, please? What does that mean to you? When you see that headline, Go ahead, my lady, I'll wait for you, don't worry, go ahead.
What's you are supposed to do?
Okay. Thank you. Let's take someone else. Thank you, my lady. Emmanuelata, what do you want to say that you will mute your mic? Tell me, what are the 2 meanings at least you can get from this? Give me one. Gideona baby, you want to respond? Oh dear. That's what I'm tempted to say. Whoever wants to If anyone wants to respond, I've muted everyone. And you alone can unmute and ask, and then we can continue. And answer. Go ahead, Rashid.
Hello.
Is it Clement or Rashid?
Clement.
Okay, Clement,
The
go ahead.
student grandparents or the grandparents went to the school for the food.
Very good. So the children, the students have cooked food and presented it to their grandparents to eat. That's one meaning. What is the other meaning that is so unholy we are even afraid to talk about? That the students cut their grandparents into pieces and enjoyed. Look on the screen very well. You see, that could be what the person is saying. Don't assume it. Don't say it couldn't be this. The interpretation, students cook and serve grandparents. They cook their grandparents and serve people. It could be that. That's why this is ambiguous. Okay. Yes, article. Free turkey. We talked about free turkey. It could be free the nation turkey. Free turkey is available for us to eat. The meat turkey. Set the bear turkey free from the hen coop. I gave you all those examples when we did equivocation earlier, if you remember. Okay. So now there you go. Free turkey. Is it free the nation turkey or set us free? Excuse me, set the nation turkey free. You people are distracting me. I'm trying to disable your mic so you can hear. They are new concepts. When they are new concepts, I want you to grab it well. Angry goat injures farmer with cutlass. Is it that the goat was holding the cutlass and then he injured the farmer? Or the farmer was holding the cutlass and he injured the goat? See that in all cases, I'm showing you the source of ambiguity. What is causing the problem? It's a certain word or phrase that you are using in a certain way, which creates the double meanings in the mind of the person. You should be able to detect it. I should have said, angry goat injures the farmer who was holding the cutlass. I think I've disambiguated. Or I should say, the farmer who was holding the cutlass has been injured by the angry goat. Very long, but clear. Look at the other one too. Disappearing into a hole, I saw a mouse. I want your views. What do you think? Let me take some. If you let me do all the talking, it's because I understand it. That is why I'm able to talk like that about it. The best way you two can understand and take a grab of it is to engage it. Let's discuss it. Like the way people do concern. 30 years after, we can still remember how we talked about that issue under the tree there when we're talking about the sister who had the Madam High Heel shoe. We can remember because it was discussed in an informal setting, not too programmed. Okay, but when you sit in the library and you read one paragraph, when you step out, 30 minutes after, you can't remember. You have to go and do and remember, read and read. But the concern that you did, concern means gossip. 30 years ago, you can still remember because of the setting. Right? Be part of the discussion. Okay, that's why I do that. So that you feel, I mean, we evolve together the content. Somebody tell me what you see there. Disappearing into a hole, I saw a mouse.
Hello.
Dennis,
Madam.
Madam, let me take, I want to take Dennis.
Hello, madam. Hello.
Dennis.
Madam.
Oh. Go ahead. Clement, I've disabled your mic mistakenly. Sorry. Go ahead, Dennis, please. What are the two interpretations at least that you can get from the screen? Oh, Dennis, I gave you fans like this. You won't give me the answer.
Madam, I'll give the answer.
Go ahead.
Okay, if disappearing into a hole, I saw a mouse. This means that you are trying to say that you, the person, disappeared into the hole, and when you entered the hole, you saw a mouse. But
is that
it's supposed to be,
or
no, Madam, I'm Eva.
Okay. Go ahead. You done well. What about the second meaning that someone else could give?
Madam, I want to talk about it. Hello.
Madam, I want to give a second.
He saw a mouse disappearing into a hole.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. So my lady got the one that is intriguing.
Madam.
Yes, auntie. The hole could be
Madam is
underground.
disappearing to the hole, the person.
Yes, it could be the underground there.
Madam.
The hole could be underground as Pinterest there. You see that? It could be that when you, the human being, you say when you were disappearing into that hole there with your car under the underground tunnel there, then you saw a mouse. It could
Madam,
apply.
it could also be that.
Yes.
It could also be that the mouse disappearing into the hole.
Very
When
good.
the mouse saw the mouse
When you were
disappearing
passing,
into the
yes.
hole.
Very
Yeah.
good. So that is why it's ambiguous.
Yeah.
Yes, you are right. So those two meanings both apply to one expression. It's ambiguous. If you are taking somebody's report at the police station or something, don't let it pass and say, oh, I think he means this. It doesn't mean anything. There's an example in your text. It says, stolen jewels discovered by tree. Stolen jewels discovered by tree. The by is the thing that is creating the ambiguity by. Is it that we found the jewels that were stolen next to the tree in the house there? Or you are saying the tree found the jewels? Someone will say, oh, dog, construct. How did the tree find it? As our Nigerian movies, whether trees don't find jewels. My children, my children, my children. There to be a tree coming. Reflect on what you see on your screen. Reflect on what you see on your screen now. Projected something. All illustrating ambiguity. Look at it very well. We are going to discuss in a minute. What do you see?
Madam.
Some will say obscure man with blind.
Madam.
Slow children crossing.
Or
Slow children
Madam,
cross.
I'll answer.
And Jacob's girl man with blind.
Now listen, I just disabled your thing. I like to tell you so that you don't stress yourself. Look at this particular one. The other ones are not too controversial because you have seen, but look at this one I'm highlighting now. See, St. Martha's Episcopal Church. In front of the church, inside their side, whatever, post there is the inscription, we love hurting people. Oh, my people, we love hurting people. The church this is not a story. Look at it very well. St. Martha's Episcopal Church. We love hurting people. Tell me what you find. The ambiguity there. Can you see it clearly now? Yeah. Let me take Princess Judith. You've not spoken to the Princess Judith. Tell me what the two possible meanings are that you find there. Oh, my lady Judith. Are you there, Princess Judith? It's only your microphone I've enabled. Okay, let me take Foster AJ. Foster, respond and let me see. I've allowed your mic. Oh, people. Let me allow everyone so that. It's Isaac. So Isaac wants to react. Let me take Isaac then. Okay. Okay, Isaac, I just allowed your mic. I think you should be able to unmute.
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead, sir.
I think the first one is that the church is trying to say they like hurting people, but they love hurting people.
You have repeated them. You have repeated what they said.
I think the church means like the church is trying to say they like to cause injury to people or something like that. Like, yeah.
Very good.
And then the second one too.
Means, go ahead. Thank you. Go ahead.
Then the second one probably would be that they like people who hurt. So hurting people.
Yes, very good. You've done a good job. I don't have to add anything. So you should all listen to what Isaac said. Isaac says, if you are an usher at the church there, or a protocol, or an administrator at the church there, pull that thing down immediately because someone can reference that and take the church to court. Now you are there, all you do is to hurt people. because you have put it on your signpost that you love hurting people. But what the church means, we think, would be to say we love people.
Madam, I have a second idea.
I'll take it, just a minute. We love people who have been hurt. You see that? Bring all you who are heavy laden and blah blah. Anna, come. All those who are burdened and heavy laden, they are carrying.
That one is Matthew 11, verse 28.
That's plus one. Come. We love people like that. That's one meaning. The other one is media. We have taken degree in how to make you hate. That's what we do here. Okay. So you have to correct ambiguity. What do you think is the source of ambiguity, please? All of us. What word or phrase is causing the ambiguity in that expression?
Hurting people.
The hurting.
Madam, hurting people.
Hurting people. Yeah.
Yeah, hurting people. Madam, it's hurting people.
Yes. Okay. So you understand ambiguity slow, but steadily. That is why you want to avoid ambiguity as much as possible. The others are a bit straightforward. Slow children crossing. Depending on how I read it, you see that you hear me say slow children crossing. Someone could say slow children crossing. The other one is just like the angry goat scenario. San Jose cops kill man with knife. They are all newspaper items. See the free ticket to your right side there. We have gone through that already. Very ambiguous. And then the one that can be scandalous. Look on your screen. Look at it very well. If you have not prayed today, pray before you read what is on the screen. I'm going to ask you to react in a minute. Look at it well, please, respectfully. A special student, if yours is a visual impairment, don't you worry at all. You know how we do it. I'm addressing the generality of the class. Please look and raise your hand if you want to react. I want to see the hands going up. I'm checking if people understand. So it's important to participate. Very good. That is fair. Hey, very good. Now I can take I can take someone. Let me take Hartwell. Hartwell.
Hello, madam.
Yes, please tell me, what do you make of what is on the screen?
Okay, I think it could mean he married his own son, or it could mean he married his own son.
You see that? Thank you, Hartwell. But what you said is still ambiguous.
Yeah.
It's just it's on the screen. I have to open it out.
It could mean like he and his son got married, or he was the priest who married his son to a lady or something.
Very good. You see how you
Madam, I have an
become
idea.
I'm coming, just a minute. You know why sometimes people who understand the power of language and they know the intricacies around it, sometimes it's as if, but this you can just say it this way. You can't say it this way, sir. It's pregnant. You have to open it out. Look at all the angles, like our friend just said. So the newspaper headline, I told you that people can use ambiguity for the purpose of what? Advertisement, drawing attention, making it catchy. Okay, even equivocation. Rappers can do that. Or you're free, not be free. And so the person is a free person, but he likes to free things, and yet he comes from a free nation. So we will be enjoying the way he's moving from one connotation of the word to the other. We will clap. But not when we are at the law court discussing whether LGBTQ RSGWZ is, is legal. That is, it's acceptable by the law or not. And then you are equivocating left, right, center from customary law to civil law to what have you. That one, we won't smile. I hope you get it. Okay, so now let's brush up the others quickly and then we can move. Someone kept saying, I have an idea. And I'm glad the class is.
Madam,
Just a minute, okay? I'm almost done. These are all emphasis. So there we go. Look at the equivocation you studied earlier, which you know so well now, when you keep shifting meaning, okay, without notice. Here, noisy children are a real headache. 2 aspirin will make a headache go away. Therefore, 2 aspirin will make noisy children go away. The person is arguing as if the 2 uses of the word headache are the same. 2 connotations of the word headache are the same. They are not. I especially like example 3. Can someone read that for me? Let me take the brother who wants to make a comment. Please read example 3 for me. Quick, quick.
Mad people must be institutionalized.
Mad people must be institutionalized. Zainab is madly in love with Tabu, so she must be institutionalized. The person reasoning this way is equivocating. She's using the word mad differently whenever which academic the year, not this year. Okay, and then include your campus. Okay, so she must be institutional. The person speaking this way is moving from one of the connotations of the word mad to another one. Mad, in the first sense of it, apologies, means someone who is sick in the head and needs attention at the psychiatry. That's why we want to institutionalize them, keep them, restricted. Then you tell me that Zainab too is madly in love with her. So look at the conclusion. So she must be institutionalized. That's what creates the equivocation. You are using the meaning in the first sense of the word, the first statement, and the second statement as if they mean the same thing. And so look at the conclusion you are drawing, that she should also be institutionalized. That is what creates the equivocation that we say we couldn't. Very good. So you know equivocation. You saw the responsible example. The example on responsible, I've seen it already. There comes the example on vague. We saw vagueness when we did definitions. There we are with vagueness in expressions. This one, you have to ask for clarity. It's not vagueness when you are using metaphor or idioms. Those ones, they are intentionally vague. That is their personality. Okay, so you have to respect that and open out what the expression is. But if I'm using everyday language, you ask me, when will the provost come? Secretary, please. And she tells you any moment from now. That is vague. Any moment from now can be 10,000 years from now, or tomorrow, or 1 minute. It's open. Jesus says, behold, I am coming soon. That is intentionally vague. Soon. Since he said it 2,000 years ago, it's still soon. Okay. So if you go for your passport and they tell you you can come any moment, when will it be ready? So soon. Tell them, thank you, madam, but please could you be specific? It will help my planning. You say, oh, maybe 3 days time. Please, can you tell me what time if it is possible? You say, hey, you too, I said 3 days time. You thank you. At least that's okay. But if you just take the soon and then 3 years time, say, I put my passport through many years ago. Now it's not like that, I think, in the past. And all these years, they just keep telling me soon. It is you, not them. Whoever is not getting a job is not looking hard enough. What does it mean to look hard enough? It's vague. Okay, I've already emphasized this, that some proverbs and metaphors are intentionally, so this has been said already. The types of discourse we did. Did we do arguments? Yes, we did. Let me ask. Let me see if you can speak. Yeah, we did arguments, right? We presented arguments. I just want to know from the class. Please unmute and respond. Let me be sure if I'm not confusing you with another. Yes, please. You see, so I'm going to go through you. Let your eyes look at what I'm presenting. Narrative, instruction, we've done it. You see that we've done that. All these were put there to help you.
To unmute and respond.
When I mute, then you unmute. I want to finish so that you can go home and rest. Yeah. I can also rest a little. Okay, so I've muted everyone. I've disabled you now. Please listen. Don't try to unmute so that you don't stress yourself. Instruction, we did it. See, rhetorical polemic, we've done it. Strong emotive expression. They are all already part of the earlier discussions we've had. I put them here for you to see. So argument. Why are we discussing argument? Because you need it to resolve or attempt to resolve substantive disagreement. You need it to clarify, etc., etc. Okay, where you have a passage that is not arguing, in other words, not presenting evidence to support a claim. It might be a rhetorical polemic. It might be what's the other one? Narrative or an instruction. You know the difference. So on your screen now, argument is definitely not what you see on my screen now. Not this, not exchange of words, not aggressive language, not disputing, unnecessary disputing. No. Argument is this. We said all this. So we say I'm not repeating. Making a claim and giving reasons. We know the parts of an argument, always only a single conclusion. All the rest are premises that supposedly support the given conclusion. So if it does, and it does it appropriately, then we'll call it a valid deduction. Sometimes it doesn't do it well. We'll see all that, God willing, subsequently. We saw the types of an argument, deduction and induction. This example on your screen, the trial, shows you an instance of an argument where you don't see any indicator word. There's no premise indicator, no conclusion indicator, but it is telling you something based on evidence. So it's an argument. Look at the first statement. That's what the person wants to say. The others are the reasons being offered. Still examples of arguments. Look at them. Okay. All these we saw them. See more examples of argument. Examples. Look at them very well. Reference them. I refer to them when I'm taking you a bit closer to what types of argument, and then even within the types of the types. So deductive argument and its type, modus ponens, tollens, hypothetical, all those ones. Okay. Disjunctive syllogism. Then we'll go to inductive argument. We'll look at causal reasoning, argument based on sampling. I don't think we'll do sampling now. We'll do causal reasoning, and we'll do unit 7, inductive reasoning in the sciences. Look at them to benefit our science. So on your screen now, there we go. The normative versus the empirical laws. Look at this very well. Look at it very well with your eyes shining. Okay. And then remember the 6 senses of the word law I took you through when I was showing you equivocation. These are different connotations of the word law. I'm sure now you remember. Divine law, don't pay your tax, for example. Mathematical law, 2 plus 3 equals. Logical law, modus ponens. If P, then Q, P has happened, therefore Q must follow. Moral law. Look at how we enforce these different laws. We enforce them differently. I told you. The sister wearing the bikini to the lecture hall will not be arrested by the police. But we can arrest her with our eyes. Vandals can arrest us with their whistling. Coco, 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 so there are social norms, statutory norms, civil law. Remember the civil, this is the criminal thing I mentioned the last time. All of these various connotations of the word law together are called normative laws. All of them on one side versus the scientific laws, which are called what? Empirical. Scientific means observation-based. So you use your 5 senses to detect that whenever you throw a ball up, it will come down. That is empirical. It's by observation. You didn't do any magic. It's not in the meanings of terms. It's what we have seen over the years. Whenever women get pregnant, they give birth in 9 months' time. That's why, because it is empirical, what we saw yesterday and over the years may not necessarily be what will happen tomorrow. So it can fail. Look on my screen now. I told you, look at it. That's why empirical laws are like what? Predictions. They are predicting that tomorrow it will rain. So the meteorologist's work is to tell you that if I look at what happened here and there, tomorrow it will rain. Tomorrow may come and it will not rain because it is an empirical study. The fibroids may be very big, but the sister will still deliver against all research that has been done so far. Why? Because you are dealing with an empirical study. So take note. Natural laws are scientific laws, and they are the what? Empirical laws. Together, all of them on one side versus the others at that unit, in unit 5. Civil laws, moral laws, logical. They are not empirical laws. They are what? normative in orientation. Normative means if you disobey, we will force you to conform in a certain way. We will make you obey the law. The law will change for you. But empirical laws, when the child doesn't come in 9 months' time and decides to come in 7 months' time, will you say the child should remain in your tummy? Because if he comes, biology law is breaking back the law of biology. No, you will deliver the child in 7 months and call the child preterm. You will change your law to say that it is not every child, asumwa, it's not every child that is delivered in 9 months. So that is what will be the thrust of our discussion subsequent weeks on what? The 6 senses of the word law. Key for you as a critical thinker is this, what I have projected. This is what is important. I've summarized all into one slide like this. The rest should give you flesh, but you should be able to see that empirical and normative are describing 2 main categories, groupings of laws. Okay, think of one as one that if you disobey it, it will force you to conform. Normative, no. This is how we do it. This is how it should be done. This is how it must be done. So it is enforced. All the other laws, they are like that, except only one, which is what? Natural laws, also called empirical laws or scientific laws. If I throw a ball up and it doesn't come down, science has progressed. We say, woo, force of gravity is no longer working. Something else is happening now. We are going to change the laws to accommodate the exception. I'll take it a bit more deeper when we meet God next week. I'm done. And because I shut you up, you have been quiet. Let me see if people have questions. And then we can. I can take only 2 questions. I have another 2-hour trot. I'm coming from 1 2 hour, and I just did another 2 hours, and I have a 2 hour after. So I have to rest. Any question? Genuine question. And then we'll end quickly. Please access tutorials, if you need to. Go ahead. That is bothering. Go ahead, say. It's not a question. What's the other one? Quickly. All right. I think everybody is okay. Thank you all. If you have a question, I have another class.
Hello, madam.
Let's take in this audience question quickly.
Hello, madam.
Madam.
Madam, please, I'm asking about the tutorial.
The what?
The tutorial.
Oh, the links are at the resource. You find it. All the links for all the tutorials, about 16 of them. We just find the time that suits you, no restriction to specific doing it. Okay. Thank you. One more. You are welcome. Sir. One more.
Please. Metaphors in personification.
I can't hear any of you. Yes, Auntie Eunice. Go ahead.
Please, I said, where do metaphors in personification, those figurative words, where do they?
Every metaphor is not speaking directly. You see that? Whenever you speak a metaphorical, and when you speak metaphorically, you don't intend that people should interpret it literally. Okay, so as soon as an expression is metaphorical, like I say, the Lord is my shepherd, that's a metaphor. Our lecturer is a flower. My daughter, someone is we are going to marry someone. I like the marriage as simple. Then the man says, "This my daughter is a flower." When you go handle her, he's not saying you should go and plant her at the back of your house in the garden. It didn't say that. Figurative metaphors are already for the what intentional vagueness. That is their value.